Two veterans and a government worker collected hundreds of thousands of dollars.
His dad said he fell off a roof and had to get a hip replacement because he fell. That's not funny.
Have you guys ever wondered where your tax money goes? Apart from that big military budget, it goes to other things as well. One of those things being a disability pay for people that need it, which I'm sure the majority of people don't have an issue with. But there are some people out there that claim these benefits that don't actually need them whatsoever. In today's video, we're gonna have a look at some of those people. Some of those people pretending to be blind while receiving benefits, other people claiming that they can't walk. And at the end of the video, a man who pretends to be a veteran in a wheelchair who just simply isn't and is lying. That last one is sure to piss you off. So without further ado, let's have a look.
This man appears to be enjoying a morning walk with family here in Jacksonville. He's pushing a toddler in a stroller, occasionally glancing over his shoulder to make sure no cars are behind him. And on another day, if you watch closely, this hidden camera records him getting into his truck and after a few seconds, drives away. A few hours later, he pulls back in. It may not seem unusual, except Jose Calderon Fuentes has told the government he is so blind, he's disabled.
Wow, he's a pretty good driver, considering that he can't see anything. I always wonder if it's even worth it, you know? Sure, they get some good money out of this, absolutely. But you're living your life then in constant fear of being caught. And of course you are. Look at the way that he's walking up and down the streets, looking behind his shoulder to see if anyone is watching him. You can't even live a normal life at that point. Is it really worth the $20,000 to $30,000 that you get a year to live like this? Obviously, for some people, it seems so. A lot of the times, these people get caught, which is good. But it seems to be a real pandemic. I know we have similar issues in the UK, but we have certain benefits for people that have kids. You get a monthly allowance, so then people will completely abuse that and have like 8 to 10 children. Not because they really necessarily wanted them, but because they get a little bit of extra money each month from having them, which is just absolutely disgusting. Imagine having your kid and the only reason behind it was to get a little bit of extra money.
Here, during another walk, he doesn't appear to have any trouble seeing this man or the paper he's holding to give him directions. Calderon Fuentes collected more than $43,000 in disability payments from the Department of Veterans Affairs for bilateral blindness.
And where the money comes from is also really important. Taking money away from veterans has to be one of the most scummiest things you could possibly do. It's already bad enough that you're taking money away from people with real disabilities, but could you imagine the cherry on top? Also then taking money away from veterans, the people that literally risk their lives so you may sleep easy at night.
He was also caught on tape mowing the lawn outside his home. And if you look closely on the left, you can see his hood is up as he works on his truck. And on the right, that's him washing a red car in his driveway. He was convicted of stealing government property, your tax dollars, and sentenced to 5 years probation.
Which is honestly kind of just BS, right? Being able to still live outside of jail and prison and go around doing your day-to-day things like nothing even happened. I'm sure he probably had a monthly fine that he had to pay within the money that he earns, which probably then wasn't a whole lot of money. Just 5 years of probation is nothing. But then begs the question, how come, say in the video we watched yesterday, that was an awful case. And it seems like the woman there really had nothing. Even 5 years probation for her would have been something at least. These people get off doing these types of scams with no real repercussions.
This is Susan Gizzi in the orange swimsuit enjoying a day at the water park. Climbing the stairs, eventually reaching the top, no hesitation to ride. Here you see her at the bottom as she steps out of the water and heads back up. Gizzi, also recorded here during a tropical vacation, has collected more than $112,000 in workers' compensation payments for a back injury that she got while working as a mail carrier for the U.S. Postal Service in Ocala.
Jesus Christ. Like, some of the ones I watch, I really wonder if it's worth it. But I feel like now we're getting into the territory where it ain't just a few bucks anymore. $112,000. You know what I mean? That's quite a significant amount of money, and why it can sound appealing to do so, again, is very important to understand where you're taking that money from. The resources from people that actually need these types of paychecks to actually live their lives. I know it's certainly not easy to get these paychecks in the first place, and I know for a fact there's probably real people out there who need these paychecks who probably get denied by these people like this going and walking around, going on holidays, going down the slide, going to water parks, and just living their best life. Some people hide it better than others, apparently.
An injury she said was so severe, she was deemed permanently disabled. Here, she's clearly excited about a scuba diving trip she's preparing to take in the Dominican Republic. This hidden camera captures it all. She's loaded up with gear, and as we continue to watch, she walks with the heavy equipment to the beach. It appears to be a bumpy ride as she heads out to sea. Gizzy was convicted of stealing from the government. Again, your tax dollars.
Oof. I can only imagine how long the sentence was for that. $112,000. That is a lot of money.
Do you think that people realize how often these kinds of fraud cases occur involving taxpayer dollars?
Probably not.
Curtis Fallgatter spent 17 years as an assistant U.S. attorney. He says these kinds of white-collar crimes involving stolen tax dollars are rampant.
Money, it's like robbing a bank, but it's easier and you don't have to use a gun. So, you know, there's a very large number of folks that are cheating our government.
And I can imagine this happens a lot. Not only with just physical health as well, but I also know with mental health, this happens quite frequently. I grew up with some friends that literally tried to convince me to do the exact same thing. I didn't do it, obviously. Even back then, at least I had morals. But I remember they never even got jobs and tried to convince me to go on benefits. Like the second I turned 18 as well, you know, bragging about how cool it was and how you can actually apply for it now. And by the time you get it, you actually get a big paycheck from all the months from when you first applied, meaning the months that you kind of missed out on, you get like one big paycheck right at the beginning. But I remember why they were telling me this. I just knew nothing was actually wrong with them. Sure, they had a little bit of anxiety, but who doesn't at the age of 18? Not enough anyway to not be able to even try getting a job. This just seemed way easier to them. For me, felt like a lifestyle that I just didn't want to get involved with. I feel like once you start that path, it's very hard, I'm assuming, to get out of it.
These videos and pictures catching fraud in the act make prosecuting them easier. But Fallgatter says actually getting your tax dollars back after they're caught rarely happens.
They're barely making ends meet, which is probably why they stole the money in the first place. They will not have very much to contribute to the restitution, and when their probation term expires, the judge has no choice other than to let them off.
Calderon Fuentes agreed to pay $500 a month for 5 years in restitution. So that's only $30,000 of the $43,881 he received in fraudulent VA disability payment. So that's a loss of more than $13,000 to our government. Susan Gizzy said that she could only afford to pay $100 a month over 3 years. So if you do that math, that's only $3,600. That's nowhere near the more than $112,000 she received. So the big loser here is you, the taxpayer, to the tune of $108,000, which is why it's so important for you to report fraud to the U.S. government. Look for those numbers inside my story, caught on camera, which you can find under the iTeam tab of news4jax.com.
That's absolutely insane. I personally didn't even know that. But I mean, yeah, I guess that makes perfect sense. With the last girl only paying that much considering she stole $112,000. No wonder it sounds so appealing to people. And you got to remember, there's probably a lot of people out there that really don't have these types of morals and don't actually care. Money to them just sounds great. They don't even have any ambitions or any drive to get up in the morning to want to work. Why would you? When all you care about is money, and getting it is as easy as just faking something like this. Now in this next clip, we have a veteran. I use that term very lightly because he's definitely not. Trying to board a flight on a wheelchair, trying to get on the plane, claiming that he just came back from Afghanistan. Honestly, very brave of him. Let's see how this goes.
The only ticket that you have here is for $8.55.
He changed that. I would have been here at that time.
No, it's 8:55 tonight. You still have time. Because
Right. I have a lot of time.
Right.
I have a lot of time. I have time to use. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I could have been at home eating and all of that, you know, and having a good time.
Yeah, all the things I like to do when I'm at home, guys. I don't know about you, but let's see. Eating. Yeah, I don't know. Just eating, man. It's my favorite pastime. Yeah, having a good time and eating. My boy knows a good time when he sees one.
But now I'm here stuck.
Passenger George Washington is still confused about the time, but now...
Fucking George Washington. That just made me laugh.
I'm a military man. All I told him was, look, I worked real hard for this country, and this is the thanks I get.
This is the thanks he gets. Unbelievable. I just love how he says it so confidently. This is the thanks after being in Afghanistan. Really? By the way, yeah, he gets caught at the end. So let's carry on watching and see when my guy here gets busted.
I want to go home. I already been everywhere. This is the thanks that I get.
He's just really upset. I mean, he's just come back from the war. He's injured. Obviously, home means a lot to him right now, which I can totally understand.
Jeez, I mean, talk about pulling on your heartstrings, right? It just kind of makes the ending that little bit more uncomfortable, I guess. Like, how can you even say that? Like, oh man, that's awkward. I don't even know, bro. Like, how do you even wiggle your way out of that when you do get busted?
Hi, are you George Washington's? You're his dad? What happened? His dad said he fell off a roof and had to get a hip replacement because he fell. That's not funny. I'm sorry.
Oh my god, bro. Okay, guys, let's put it in layman terms. Going and fighting in Afghanistan, serving your country, falling off of a roof. Are they the same? No. Oh my god, bro. She did him dirty towards the end. And honestly, completely justified. If you're going to sit there in an airport and pretend like you've just come back from Afghanistan and your injury is from saving my country, god damn it, and you just fell off a roof instead, bro, that is hilarious. I fucking love her reaction at the end there. That is, oh, that's good, bro. That's good. It's like the equivalent of me flying back to the UK and saying all of this. And all that happened was I fell out of bed. Like, it just, bruh. My guy, he had us in the first half.
But that he's not been in the military. He was a war veteran, but apparently, according to his family, he just fell off a roof.
They say George Washington never told a lie.
Wait, did he? What? He still got boarded? Bro, this must have been a long time. Like, wait, what? Is that just, am I out of pocket here? Is that just me or is that just wild? You can just straight up lie that you're a veteran? I thought like the US was like really strict about that kind of thing. I always see like videos going around when people pretend that they're in the military when they haven't been, and they get like people get mad. I thought this would have had like way more like consequences than just some random lady in the airport laughing at you and being put on TV, I suppose. But I thought like the US like is super strict on that. I don't know, man. That's kind of wild that he still got boarded, considering the lie that he told. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. Is that wild or am I just over exaggerating here? Generally, please tell me. Anyway, boys and girls, that's it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure to leave a like and I'll see you all in tomorrow's video. Bye-bye.